Come, let us stop seeking Buddha, for we already are one. That was really bad grammar. Let's continue. Together as a team, let us relaxingly recite a reoccurring phrase in both Mahayana as well as Tantric literature is the Tathagata Gautama, or Buddha nature. This charming Iron Age turn of phrase hinted that enlightenment is our birthright and easily attained, without requiring heroic effort or noble sacrifice. Sounds great. Sign me up. But the mystery remains, how is one to realize it? One of the many advantages of living in this age is that medical professionals have access to sophisticated imaging technology of which the ancients could have never conceived. Functional magnetic resonance imaging, or fMRI studies, have revealed that it is our sympathetic nervous system that is the seat of mindfulness, or sati. Our parasympathetic nervous system, that is the seat of meditation, or samadhi. And our anterior cingulate gyrus, that is the seat of our loving kindness, or metta. It is these three structures that comprise our Buddha nature, but a villain lurks. Just as the Buddha's foil was his foolish cousin Devadatta, so too is the team of our prefrontal cortex, the seat of focus and analysis. Okay, let's see here. It's a bit bigger. That's what she said. And our amygdala, the seat of anxiety and aggression, the opponents to the mechanism of our Buddha nature. Just as Jack the Ripper taught us that a surgeon's scalpel could be used to take lives as well as save them, so too could both the prefrontal cortex as well as the amygdala be either used or abused. The solution to this dilemma is twofold. The easy method to strike the match of enlightenment already in our grasp. Is to allow our sympathetic nervous system to mindfully do its thing during our inhalations, and to let our parasympathetic nervous system to meditatively do its thing during our exhalations. Thus sitting in formal mindfulness and meditation once every 12 hours or so. We set space to live from our empathetic anterior cingulate gyrus effortlessly and automatically. A delightful fringe benefit of this is the manner in which our choices, utterances, and deeds could begin to flow from the effortless effort of love's centered spontaneity, which is the key to the sustainable use of our analytical prefrontal cortex as well as our primal amygdala. This is why the Buddha taught mindfulness and meditation. Good morning, Shivi. Having completed our opening lesson, it's time to shift gears. It is Ahsoka Tano Thursday morning. Come, let's meditate like a Jedi after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I have harnessed my autistic special interests and my ADHD hyperfocus to spend about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that I could become your nerdy, neurodivergent guide to nirvana. Welcome, my friends, to Meditates Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. We switch gears now and turn to our practice text, or sadhana if you're fancy. Whoops, there is something going on around here. Okay. Let us relaxingly recite. Whatever comes, may all beings notice, relax, and flow. Whatever stays, may all beings notice, relax, and flow. Whatever goes, may all beings notice, relax, and flow. Upon the tip of our left index finger, we could rest the great knuckle of the base of our right index finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so could gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to automatically coalesce at the crown region of our head. The most efficient way to practice mindfulness is, let's try this again. Each time we inhale, whether we know it or not, our sympathetic nervous system has been wired by evolution to help us to notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. Each time we exhale, our parasympathetic nervous system has evolved to support both physical relaxation as well as mental release. Therefore, during each inhalation, let us silently and mentally recite noticing. And during each exhalation, let us silently and mentally recite relaxing. Let us relaxingly recite a selection from the vast expanse of the diamond-like mind, composed approximately 14 centuries ago by Prahe Vajra of the Swat Valley, translated from the Tibetan by Chokyo Namkai Norbu, translated from the Italian by Adriano Clemente, adapted and amplified by yours truly. Like the Om and the beautiful Tom, the palm and the emanated branches, in the sphere of experience of the whole world, the profound voice of the Buddha arises. What is the voice of the Buddha? What is the teaching of the Buddha? The external teacher we have in our lives, it serves only to help us introduce us to the internal teacher, which is our ability to notice and relax in harmony with our inhalation and our exhalation. That is the bulwark of our Buddha nature, the inner teaching of the Buddha. So just as vowels and syllables of speech pervade the whole world, even when people are by themselves, they still talk to themselves or to imaginary people. Similarly, or in a similar manner, so does the inner teaching of mindfulness and meditation pervade our lives, if we allow them to, together. Like the Om and the beautiful Tom, the palm and the emanated branches. In the sphere of experience of the whole world, the profound voice of the Buddha arises. Like the Om and the beautiful Tom, the palm and the emanated branches. In the sphere of experience of the whole world, the profound voice of the Buddha arises. Like the Om and the beautiful Tom, the palm and the emanated branches. In the sphere of experience of the whole world, the profound voice of the Buddha arises. That's what we call an error. There we go. Upon the tip of our left middle finger, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right middle finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so could gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to automatically coalesce at the heart region of our chest. Every time we inhale, our sympathetic nervous system helps us to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice mind's antics of perception. You know, seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, smelling, and the like. During each exhalation, our parasympathetic nervous system has evolved to help us physically relax and mentally release. Therefore, during each inhalation, may we silently and mentally recite the verb noticing, and during each exhalation, may we silently and mentally recite the verb relaxing. Let us relaxingly recite this passage 4 times. Emaho, oh how wonderful, this sphere of experience of the Buddhas is not a place to be found by searching. Oh how, so Emaho is a common exclamation found in your more fundamentalist practitioners of Dzogchen, which seems like a contradiction. Think of it how an evangelical might proclaim glory or amen while listening to a sermon. The sphere of experience is all that we perceive as we breathe in, all that we notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly, and then processed during our exhalation as we relax. That makes it the sphere of experience of the Buddhas. Not just noticing, not just relaxing, but both. We cannot actively contemplate our way to nirvana, for that's using a different part of our central nervous system. But we can notice and relax our way there in as little as 7 days. Together. And like the phenomena of the 6 senses, it is not an ultimately graspable object. For those who search for it are like the blind reaching for the sky. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever sights, sounds, sensations, flavors, or scents we noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as if they were as not graspable as the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which although could be tantalizing to the eye, is not graspable to the hand. We notice this easily by silently and mentally reciting, noticing and relaxing in harmony with our inhalation and exhalation. This seems like an insult to the pseudo-intellectuals who want to practice mental gymnastics, or the superstitious who just want to believe their way to peace, which you can't do. Why not? Because believing is rigidity and peace is letting go. They're 2 different goals going in 2 different directions. So those who would try to actively contemplate their way to nirvana are like blind people who feel the warmth of the sun upon their face and reach up towards the source of that warmth, but their hands never pull back anything substantive. Together. Emaho, oh how wonderful, the sphere of experience of the Buddhas is not a place to be found by searching. And like the phenomena of the 6 senses, it is not an ultimately graspable object. For those who search for it are like the blind reaching for the sky. It's not our job to actively search, but to passively notice and relax. Together, Emaho, oh how wonderful, the sphere of experience of the Buddhas is not a place to be found by searching. And like the phenomena of the 6 senses, it is not an ultimately graspable object. For those who search for it are like the blind reaching for the sky. Emaho, oh how wonderful, this sphere of experience of the Buddhas is not a place to be found by searching. And like the phenomena of the 6 senses, it is not an ultimately graspable object. For those who search for it are like the blind reaching for the sky. Oh, excuse me. Let's tap button 9. Uh, we could, upon the tip of our left ring finger, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right ring finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so could gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to automatically coalesce at the navel region of our mid-abdomen. With each inhalation, our sympathetic nervous systems automatically help us to notice, to automatically help us to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice mind's antics of perception, emotion, intention, cognition, recollection, and imagination. During each exhalation, our parasympathetic nervous system is wired to support both physical relaxation as well as mental release. Therefore, during each inhalation, we could silently and mentally recite noticing, and during each exhalation, we could silently and mentally recite relaxing. We turn now to this morning's final relaxing recitation, so let's make the most of it. The path of purity that leads higher and higher does not correspond to the nature behind action. Were there really a path to tread, just like the bounds of the sky, one would never arrive. The path of purity that leads higher and higher does not correspond to the nature behind action. Carl Gustav Jung was fond of waxing eloquent about the collective unconscious. He said that it explains why sometimes people in different parts of the world who have never communicated directly or indirectly with each other would come to the same conclusion. Similarly, whilst Prahe Vajra was writing this text in the Swat Valley of contemporary Pakistan, Yongjia Xuanzhui in China was writing the Song of Enlightenment. Both extolled sudden enlightenment and lambasted the gradual path. And yet, despite this, we are reminded of Sturgeon's law. 90% of everything and everyone sucks. 90% of people are so rigid, fearful, superstitious, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and cruel, that even though the Buddha taught that full enlightenment could be accomplished in as little as 7 days by anybody, we fools and fiends protract the process, and in the protraction of the process, render it inert. Therefore, the Gelugs might speak of Lamrim. The Nyingma and the Kagyu and the Sakya might speak of Gondro. But any path of purity, be it sutric or tantric, is folly. This path is easy. This path is free. Let's continue with the word were. Were there really a path to tread, just like the bounds of the sky, one would never arrive. One could set off on foot and chase the eastern horizon and find the ocean before they find the end of the sky. Could they not? Together. The path of purity that leads higher and higher does not correspond to the nature behind action. Were there really a path to tread, just like the bounds of the sky, one would never arrive. The path of purity that leads higher and higher does not correspond to the nature behind action. Were there really a path to tread, just like the bounds of the sky, one would never arrive. Oh, excuse me. Upon the tip of our left little finger, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right little finger, palms up in our lap. Whoops. Doing so, one could gently invite the real or imagined subtle energies to coalesce, to automatically coalesce at the bladder region of our lower abdomen. During each inhalation, our sympathetic nervous system helps us to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice all manner of things, including the external and the internal, the physical and the mental, the pleasurable and the painful, the interesting and the boring, the glorious and the grotesque. During each exhalation, our parasympathetic nervous system has evolved to support both physical relaxation as well as mental release. Let us therefore silently and mentally recite noticing during each inhalation, and silently and mentally recite relaxing during each exhalation. You have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 9 hours, I would very much like to return to lead today's evening meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.